You're listening to Chris Carlin on 98.7 ESPN.
Till the bottom of the hour, Knicks basketball coming up. Taj Gibson getting to start tonight with Nerlens Noel out. All right, let's roll through all the topics and get to your calls on the open lines at 800-919-3776. We can also hit up all of your comments over on the video stream at 98.7 ESPN's Twitter handle and on ESPN New York's Facebook page at Chris Carlin over on Twitter, that guy Carlin on Instagram. We roll through. Number one, Joe Douglas and the Jets had an absolutely fantastic weekend. Whether it was Zach Wilson, who a lot of people are excited about, that's one thing. If it was everybody else that you're excited about, you're like me. I love the fact that they traded up to get Elijah Vera Tucker. I think he'll fit in very nicely. I watched probably 3 or 4 USC games last year. Did I watch him exclusively? No. Did their offensive line on the left side look pretty good where he was playing tackle? Yeah, they did. So hopefully he slides in at guard and is the number 1 rated guard in a draft that was, beyond the top 2 or 3, not great in interior offensive linemen. I think they did a really good job there. And then Elijah Moore, who's somebody who's a playmaking wide receiver, who you hope can be explosive. And then Michael Carter, who's a running back, who can be explosive from North Carolina. All of these guys, you got to help your quarterback. And of course, we don't know for sure how they're going to turn out. But I think overall, if you went into this draft hoping for something like this, boy, you got then some, you got it, and then some. And I think you have to be thrilled about it. Number 2, Zach Wilson does not necessarily need to start right away, and I'd argue it's not a good idea for him to start right away. We've heard Bart talk about Nick Foles a lot and bringing him in ultimately as a backup, but as somebody that can start. I might go into this season giving Wilson every chance to just get ready. As one coach said to me recently, and as many have said over the years, you are much better off to play a guy at quarterback a week late than too soon, because you can do some irreparable damage if you play him too soon. And I'm not saying that he's not going to be ready opening week. The Jets coaching staff, everybody might think that he is ready. He may be out there opening week. And if he is, let's go. But this is not a case of throw him out there and let's see what he's got. No. You have to be conscious of him being mentally prepared, at least as much as he can be, for what he's going to be facing, because he's never going to be fully prepared for it until he does. And you have to take out the idea of playing him early versus playing him later because you're wanting to find out whether or not you're going to ultimately put that investment in him. The Jets aren't winning this year anyway. Put him out there when you're ready to put him out there, when he's ready, or at least as close to ready as he's going to be out there. Number 3, Dave Gettleman had a very nice weekend, but was it really Dave? I'm not sure. When you look at how the moves went down, you would think that Joe Judge had a lot more influence than Dave Gettleman did. Why? Well, because Devontae Smith is somebody that Joe Judge reportedly wanted. The Eagles went and traded in front of the Giants to get him. And then instead of taking the guy that Gettleman reportedly wanted, which was Micah Parsons, the Giants traded back and got a first-round pick for next year. They traded back later on as well. Credit them. They still got an explosive receiver, but not one at that same level as Smith. So when they got Kadarius Toney, they got him at a spot that was much more commensurate with his value, and they got the pick for next year. To me, that says Joe Judge is the guy whose opinion carries the most influence around the Giants right now. Because if you're Dave Gettleman, you want somebody that you believe can help you win right away. Is that Toney? Well, maybe, but my guess is he thought Parsons had a much better chance to be that guy. Number 4, Aaron Rodgers. our buddy incarcerated Bob, who doesn't just throw stuff out there to throw it out there. Bob has pretty good information. And Bob reported last night that the Giants were one of the teams that were on Aaron Rodgers' I will go play for them list, along with the Broncos, along with the Raiders, and as we know, the 49ers were as well. If the Giants are on that list, and Dave Gettleman today at least backed up a little bit off of, that's none of my business to, well, we investigate everything, but we're committed to Daniel. The Giants now with an extra first-round pick next year, which could be a very high one with the Bears. If you can get Aaron Rodgers for 2 number ones and a number 3 next year, when you picked up an extra number 3, yeah, I kind of think you're going to go try to do that. And if you're the Packers, you may not want to trade him inside the NFC, but truly, it's not inside the division. If that's the best package that you're going to get, then you go and do it. Number 5, the Yankees. They're back. Or are they? Not so fast. And the point being is simply this. They played terrible teams last week. They did what they were supposed to do against the Tigers. And now they've got the Astros coming up. They've got the Nats coming up. To me, this is going to be a seesaw season all year. And they may win their 90 games because there are enough bad teams or 95 games or maybe even come close to 100. I don't think they're structured to win in the postseason. And I know that's all we seem to care about, but my point about it in the short term is it's going to be a roller coaster. And you watch. They could very well have a week that's meh. If they continue to play well, that's encouraging. I take very little out of last week when they didn't play great against the Orioles and ended up with a split, and then they swept the Tigers, who are not even a major league team right now. Let's be fair. Then there's Luis Rojas, and the Mets are underway, but I don't know how Luis Rojas is long for this job. I just don't see it. Every time I turn around, he does something questionable, and last night was just absolutely brutal with Edwin Diaz. In a game that's a 4-run game, you're going to run him out there 2 days in a row, and he has a stiff back, and he wants to keep pitching through it, and you let him? What are you doing? That, to me, is saying, I don't know what I'm doing this job, and I'm a little bit overmatched if I'm treating a Sunday night in Philadelphia like we're in late August in a game that I absolutely have to have. No. Terrible, terrible, terrible instincts on his part. Really a bad job on his part. And frankly, when during the offseason, the general manager pretty much said yeah, he's going to be the guy unless we get somebody better. I mean, said that publicly. He's not long for this gig. And then lastly, coming up at the bottom of the hour, the New York Knickerbockers. 8 games left. The road trip has started. Memphis tonight, a game that the Knicks need. And when I say they need, I'm talking about 4 games left, 4 wins left that I believe they need to get. Get to 40, and they will be the 4th seed in the Eastern Conference. And if you're paying attention, May 19th, I think everything's going to start opening up full blown. At least it appears so. So maybe by the time we roll around to the conference finals, the Knicks will have a full house. I'm joking, yes, but I'm not. Yeah, Memphis is a team that is fighting and scrapping for a playoff spot. I understand that. I understand it's back-to-back. I understand no Nerlens Noel tonight. Here's what I know. It's a game out of these 8 that the Knicks should win. So let's see them go do it because they have continuously done that. And that, to me, is the most impressive part of the Knicks' year. You can only point to 2 or 3 or 4 times during the season when they lost games that they absolutely going in should have won. There it is. All you the rest of the way. On Twitter at Chris Carlin, by all means, hit us up there. And on the phone lines at 800-919-3776. Light them up because we are rolling through them until the bottom of the hour. You can leave your comments on the video stream as well at 98.7 ESPN's Twitter handle and on ESPN New York's Facebook page. Vámonos, muchachos. We have work to do.
It's Carlin
I get my greens through a chocolate shake like every other American should.
on 98.7 ESPN.
Hey, it's Peter Rosenberg here to tell you about my friends at Bath Fitter. They just remodeled my bath, and they did an incredible
Let's see,
job.
Carlos Campos.
Bath Fitter is known for their one-piece seamless wall.
Any
but I wanted to do
post-June
something
1st
special.
cuts
Okay,
we
I
should
wanted
keep an
something
eye
to
out
say
for the
my parents were
Jets?
getting older. I wanted to get a more shower.
There
I wanted
was
to
the
get a bar that they could
tackle
grab
that
onto
was
for
cut
safety, and
today.
Bath Fitter was able to accommodate me, okay? The consultant came over, he took me through the process to pick the style and the color, all the specifics and accessories I needed to get my new bath. And they got me exactly what I needed. Not only is it beautiful, but I don't have to worry about my parents when they come to visit. The install was super easy, and Bath Fitter sends over one installer to your home. A Bath Fitter factory-trained employee, no subcontractors, and the bath is done in as little as a day. No demolition needed. Bath Fitter has been in business for 36 years with over 2 million happy customers just like me. They stand by their work, and they provide you with a lifetime guarantee for as long as you own your home. So start designing your bath today like I did at bathfitterdesign.com. There's only one Bath Fitter. bathfitterdesign.com.
These days, nearly every small business owner is looking for ways to cut costs. And that's where Spectrum Business comes in. They have the best business internet and phone available at prices that are up to half off what you're paying now. That's right. You can cut costs for your business and get faster internet. Just what small businesses need right now. Call 833-919-2129 and get all the value with none of the nonsense. That's Spectrum Business. 833-919-2129.
When you support City Harvest, you do more than just provide hundreds of millions of pounds of food to millions of hungry New Yorkers. You feed hope for a kid up in Parkchester. You feed confidence for a first-in-her-family Queens College freshman. You feed community for folks in Canarsie Park. You feed compassion.
The guy,
for
Carlos,
retired Staten
that
Island
I was
nurses
talking
who
about
continue to
was
serve.
Charles
You
Leno,
feed strength for
who
office
was the
workers
left
in
tackle
Manhattan.
for the
When you support City Harvest, you
Bears.
feed good.
guy
Support
that was
us
a
at
Pro Bowler who got cut
cityharvest.org.
today. A little bit
Hey, it's
surprising.
Michael K. Tune in for my show
Maybe he's
Monday
somebody
through
that they
Friday,
look
2
at, but
p.m.
he's going to
till
get some
6:30
decent
p.m.
money.
Presented by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15%
they
or
like
more
George
on
Fant.
car insurance. Visit
We're okay with
geico.com
him, but
today and see how
if
much you could
Leno
save.
would play left tackle, or you move back
Goodyear
over to
knows
right
the
tackle.
importance of keeping momentum as you head down the stretch.
2 minutes.
Starts with movement. It's pulled from the air like a contested rebound. Momentum builds with steals and fast breaks, and is proven by deep threes as the shot clock expires. Momentum is how we change the game. And now it's time to discover where it can take us. Goodyear, more driven.
Having your own home is awesome, but it's also a lot of work. The good news, finding help for your projects is easier than ever. Introducing Angie, the app that puts all your home care needs at your fingertips. Need a pro to fix that emergency leak? Maybe find someone to build a deck, or even set your seasonal tasks on autopilot. Angie can handle all that and more. Expert pros, hundreds of home projects, clear pricing, and the easiest way to book and pay in seconds. This is Angie, your home for everything home. Download the app today.
It's okay to have questions about getting vaccinated for COVID-19.
You got it, Carlos.
Wherever you are in your decision, the New Jersey Department of Health can help. Watch New Jersey doctors discuss important COVID-19 vaccine information at nj.gov/health/vaxfax. That's nj.gov/health/vaxfacts.
Getting the COVID-19 shot is a choice that impacts the health of family, friends, and others around you. With 11 Hackensack Meridian Health vaccination sites across New Jersey, including the Meadowlands Megasite, you have a location nearby. New appointments are added daily to our enhanced online schedule.
Lindor up with the bases loaded against Wainwright. 2 out. Second inning, 2-1 Metsies.
Convenient for you. And take the next step in winning the fight against COVID-19 today.
Experience the difference in home comfort with Edison Heating and Cooling. They're New Jersey's air conditioning experts with over 35 years experience. The warmer weather is coming, so make sure your system is ready with their huge team dedicated to delivering quality performance and value. If your system is over 15 years old, it's time to upgrade to a high-efficiency Carrier AC system. With NJ Clean Energy and Carrier rebates available, you'll save money and stay cooler. Trust a local New Jersey business with your comfort. Edison Heating and Cooling. Visit EdisonHVAC.com. That's EdisonHVAC.com.
We all have our favorite teams to root against, but we can all agree that the real villain is sugar and high fructose corn syrup. It causes weight gain, obesity.
Wainwright is still spinning that curveball.
With RX Sugar. RX Sugar is the world's best tasting, healthiest, natural plant-based organic sugar and syrup. 0 calories, 0 carbs, 0 blood sugar impact. It's keto certified. People living with diabetes. Buy RX Sugar at rxsugar.com, Amazon, or retailers nationwide. RX Sugar. There is no substitute.
Carlin, 98.7 ESPN. Let's do it. Albert, North Bergen, up next. 98.7. Albert, what's up, buddy?
Long time, first time, Mr. Carlin. How are you?
I'm great. How you doing?
Good. I'm doing great. I was the perfect candidate for the managerial job of the Mets.
Who's that?
Buck Showalter.
Yeah, the second person that's brought it up, and I don't think it's crazy at all. I don't think it's likely, but I wouldn't hate seeing it. And that's one of those things where a caller brought it up earlier, where you could see Steve Cohen saying to Sandy, hey, I like Buck. Maybe we go get Buck. Sandy, Buck's not Sandy's kind of guy. Sandy's going to want the guy who's just going to do whatever he wants him to do. That's not Buck Showalter. But I tell you what, I don't hate it. I don't hate it at all. Good talk. Thanks, Albert. Bob, Tom's River, next, 98.7 ESPN. Hail, Bob.
Carlin, Lawrenceville. How you doing?
What's going on, dude? How are you?
Heard a very good interview with Zach, the Jets' prospective quarterback.
Zach Wilson.
Wilson. Keep saying Walsh. With him, and I learned stuff that I never knew. First of all, he's very, very articulate and a fun guy to listen to. But he said he was praying that he was going to get drafted by the Jets because in the interview process, the two of them found out that the Jets used exactly the same offensive system as BYU does. And he was shouting off play numbers to them, and they were shouting off play numbers to him, and they each knew exactly what plays they were talking about, the Jets and Zach. And he said, as far as having to learn anything, he didn't have to learn a thing. He said he could just walk in there tomorrow and call off all the plays in their playbook.
Well, I think there's probably going to be more to it than that. But look.
Well, he thought it'd be great for him.
Yeah, listen. What Zach Wilson is confident. He's somebody that is really, I guess, just seems to handle himself the right way all across the board. But can we call this what it is? Zach Wilson has no idea what he's coming into. He has no idea what he's coming into. And if he were smart, he would call Sam Darnold. And Sam Darnold handled himself great over the 3 years here. And Wilson has already called Mark Sanchez. He's already called Chad Pennington. I did not see Darnold on that list. And I'm sure at some point he'll reach out to Sam to talk to him about it. This kid, truth be told, really has no clue what he's walking into. And you can't blame him for that. How would he? He's coming from Provo, Utah.
But he knows everything about their system.
I understand that. That's great. That's great. I am sure, given the fact, Bob, and thanks for the call, that he basically is just now going to be getting the full-on playbook as opposed to what they gave him to go over on a Zoom call. He may know a lot of what they do already. That's fantastic. That doesn't mean that he's got the playbook mastered. It doesn't mean that in the least. He just got drafted 2 days ago, and I know what he said. And I understand that he's going to be great for this particular system that they're going to be running. That's all awesome. But let's at least acknowledge that all of that, while important, does not match up to everything that he is going to be facing as quarterback for a franchise that has been looking for its quarterback since Joe Namath. And how many times have we said that about the guy coming in? I think he's got a chance. I do. I think he's capable of making all the throws. But how will he handle himself when it matters the most? In other words, when things are not going right. Rob in Connecticut is next on 98.7 ESPN. Rob, what's going on with you tonight, brother?
Hey Steve. Just out finishing up work. First time, long time.
It's Chris, actually, but that's fine.
Oh, Chris. You know why? It's a mental thing because Chris Carlin. I went to school with Steve Carlin. Sorry about that.
Where did you go to school with Steve Carlin? I've got a brother named Steve Carlin.
Back in Michigan, and that gets to the heart of the problem. I'm a transplanted Michigander up in here in Connecticut. I am a diehard Tigers and Lions fan, which, much to my own embarrassment.
Wow.
And at the risk of piling on the Yanks friends, I want to echo something that you were talking about at the very beginning of May, and I think Michael touched on it too, when you were hearing all these loud voices talking about, it's the same lack of luster since back of the playoffs and this kind of shameful behavior of the Yanks fans. And kudos for them for beating a team 3 games out that they totally should have beaten. But they have an embarrassment of riches all of the time. The behavior at the beginning of May by the fans was absolutely shameful. They do not know misery. And misery is being a transplanted Tigers fan.
Now, all right, but hang on. When you say that they don't know misery, which specific fan base are you talking about? Are you talking about the Yankees? Of course they don't.
Yankees.
Of course they don't.
Yankees.
Of course they don't know misery. At least not ones that are recent over the last 25 years.
Right. And I'd love to hear, listen, I know you might not be the subject matter expert on just how bad the Lions are or the Tigers are, but I know we can see it. But is there, in your opinion, there is no franchise that wasted pitching talent in the last 20 years than the Tigers. And it goes beyond Verlander and Scherzer. Look at all of the great pitchers who came through that system, and they squandered every single one of them. Fernando, Rodney, Porcello, Zimmerman. I'll hang up and get your thoughts on that. But misery, I live it every day. Thanks.
Well, Rob, look. As far as the Tigers are concerned, yeah, it's been bad. And I feel for you. Where I really feel for you is being a Lions fan. When a great year is 7-9. I can't imagine being a Lions fan. And I know what the Jet fans have been through. I understand that. That's a team that hasn't even sniffed it. Championship games, none of it. None of it. Hasn't even sniffed it ever. 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 It's bad to be a Jet fan. It's brutal to be a Lions fan. It's absolutely brutal to be a Lions fan. 800-919-3776, 800-919-ESPN. I'm excited for the Knicks game tonight. As we talked about earlier, the notion of winning games that you're supposed to, and that to me, not just the fact that they've done it, but they've been in position to have teams that they should beat. Just that alone for the Knicks this season, that they have developed far enough along that you look at games and you say they should win that game. That has not happened. And that has not happened in 20 years outside of the 50-win season. And that is simply, to me, just the absolute best part of all of this. And I am so convinced that they are going to finish in the 4 spot, 5 spot at the worst, and they are going to end up winning a playoff round. I really believe that. I really do. Now, tonight, little tricky. Back-to-back, obviously. Memphis, this road trip, we know it started good. This is one of those games that you can honestly look at and say, if they are going to get to 40 wins and 4 of those last 8, then this is one of those games that they have to have. That they have to have. 3-3 on the road trip and then getting 1 toward the end, that would absolutely get it done. I don't think it has to be 3-3 on the road trip, but 4 the rest of the way to get to 40. The drive to 40. Great job, Michael Oleshmagoon. Great job, Jacob Perry. Will the Knicks have Alec Burks tonight? Find out in moments. Pat O'Keefe, Knicks pregame, next.
Switching to Geico is a good idea.